Are you ready to use food to help quiet your IBD symptoms? But with internet information overload, you don't know what resources you can actually trust? Or maybe you're using food to help quiet your Crohn's and colitis, but your gut healing recipe collection, it's just dried up. That happens to all of us. I know it's definitely happened to me from time to time. If you're searching for gut healing recipes and you've wondered about Danielle Walker, who's a self-trained chef, grain-free recipe developer, and a mom with ulcerative colitis, if you're wondering about her recipes and wondering if they could be just what you're looking for, my review of Danielle's 2 websites will give you what you need to decide if her recipes are the right fit for where you're at in your IBD healing journey. Hey there, Karyn Haley here, your IBD health coach, jumping in real quick to let you know that the following is an excerpt from my podcast, the Cheeky Podcast for Moms with IBD. This section of the podcast is from episode 35. If you want to hear the whole episode, where I give you the lowdown on the top 5 gut healing recipe websites and help you decide which one or ones are best for you, all you have to do is look for the link below in the comments. Or you can find the Cheeky Podcast for Moms with IBD wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, thanks for listening, Mama, and on with the clip. We've made it to Healthy Gut Healing Recipe website number 5. And this one you might already be acquainted with. It's Danielle Walker's Against All Grain and DanielleWalker.com. Those websites. Against All Grain was Danielle's first website, but it looks like she's moving things over to DanielleWalker.com now. I include Against All Grain here because you might still want to check it out. There are several good recipes on that website as well. With cookbooks like Against All Grain, Celebrations, and Eat What You Love, Danielle Walker has become a household name for grain-free eaters everywhere. Danielle was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at 22 years old. After a few years of suffering, hospitalizations, and doctors saying that food doesn't matter, right? We've all heard that, and it's so common. Danielle was at her wit's end. She was experiencing weight loss, arthritis-type pain, an elevated heart rate, hair loss, malnutrition, sleepless nights, unbearable joint pain, and insatiable hunger. Those things all plagued Danielle. And during her worst periods, Danielle says that she bordered death more than once. I bet having IBD yourself that you know these symptoms, you know these scenarios, you can relate all too well. So after trying a couple different grain-free approaches, Danielle decided on paleo to help heal, and she started a blog to help others suffering from similar ailments. Danielle calls herself a self-trained chef, and her site features grain-free, gluten-free, dairy minimal, refined sugar-free, paleo, SCD gaps, and gluten-free recipes. Wow, that is a lot of ground that she covers. It's a little bit of something for everyone who suffers from Crohn's and colitis, who's looking at food to help the whole healing process. Over the years, I've made several of the recipes from Danielle's website, and I've collected most of her cookbooks. She's a really talented recipe developer, and I love her website, especially because the food pictures, it always comes back to the pictures. They're really gorgeous and really professionally done. Recipes on her website, they are traditionally laid out with categories for appetizers, beverages, breakfast, those types of categories. But recipes are also laid out by diet. So that would be diets like paleo, and then she has a section for SCD gaps combined, vegetarian, as well as by cooking tools. So if you want to make a recipe with a slow cooker or maybe an Instant Pot, and you know I'm a sucker for an Instant Pot creation, you can search by those categories as well. There's way too many favorites to count. I can't even believe how many of her recipes I've tried and loved, but I'm going to try here. I'm going to go with my favorites right now, my favorites of the moment on her website. So number 1, her gorgonzola flatbread. I'm a huge fan of this.
I do swap out the gorgonzola for blue cheese. I think blue cheese is the poor man's gorgonzola. I don't know. I just like it better. So I swap out the gorgonzola and I do blue cheese. There's something about the combination of gorgonzola and fig, or in my case, blue cheese and fig. It's so delicious together. The combination is to die for. I also recently made Danielle's ice cream sandwich recipe. It's paleo and gluten-free. It was so much better than I was expecting, I have to say. That's a hard one to make homemade. Ice cream sandwiches, that's just something really difficult to recreate because there's that childhood love mixed with the memories that you have from eating it, and you have to compete with all that when you're making it on your own. But these ice cream sandwiches, they're delicious, and my kids enjoyed them too. My last Danielle Walker favorite recipe is her stuffed sweet potatoes. Back in the day, I was a huge loaded baked potato fan. What about you? Can you relate to that? Jason's Deli, anyone? Have you heard of Jason's Deli? The best loaded baked potatoes. So white potatoes, they're not on the menu for me anymore. But occasionally I will have sweet potatoes in Danielle's recipe. It's so overloaded with toppings, savory goodies that this is a party in your mouth with every bite. Like all the websites that I've talked about today, I will link Danielle's 2 websites in the show notes so you can easily check them out.
This has been an excerpt from the Cheeky Podcast for Moms with IBD, episode 35. It's just a snippet of what we talked about on the episode. If you're a mom with Crohn's or colitis and you found this information valuable and you want to hear more, you can hear the whole episode. The link for episode 35 is in the comments. If you're not a podcast junkie like me and you'd rather get your gut-loving information from YouTube, which I totally get because YouTube rocks as well, go ahead and click subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell and then you'll know every time a new video drops. Be well, my friend.